At a Washington press conference in 1996, the question of Cydonia reached the highest levels of the space agency.
There's a group of scientists that has been asking NASA for some number of years now to rephotograph the Cydonia landforms and to make these on the list of top priorities.
We have an opportunity to get a picture of what some people think is a face on Mars and could have been prior, not single-cell life, but higher level of life. If we have a chance to get a higher resolution picture to see what that is, we will do that.
Now, this region is not a particular target, but if there's an opportunity to rephotograph it, we certainly will.
While NASA is tolerant by its attention to the issue, most scientists believe that the features of Cydonia are not credibly artificial.
It's purely a figment of people's imagination. It has nothing whatever to do with biology. It has nothing whatever to do with ancient civilizations. It's simply a chance landform.
Whether or not Surveyor will resolve this mystery remains to be seen. For the greater importance of Cydonia lies not in what is discovered there, but rather to remind us that we may not be alone.
Earth is making enough to retire.
4 decades ago, we began to venture away from our home planet to study other worlds. Since then, a quiet shift in NASA's approach to space exploration has taken place, beginning with the planet Mars.
The emphasis was on understanding the geology, the geophysics, the climate of the atmosphere of Mars, a fairly well-rounded scientific program. But now I think looking for life has moved up to the head of the line. I think the program that NASA has right now, the #1 priority is to try to establish whether or not there has been life on Mars in the past and whether there's still life there.
Scientists now agree that if life emerged on Mars, it was in the distant past, some 4 billion years ago.
There have been areas identified where there seemed to be evidence of ancient shorelines, suggesting that there were lakes present for a significant period of time. If an organism was fossilized on the surface of Mars, say 3.5 to 4 billion years ago, there's a very high probability that fossil is still waiting there for us to find it.
Mars started out as a fairly nice place to live, once flowing with water. But over time, and for reasons still uncertain, it became the dry, cold place it is today. As the water disappeared, a clue to the mystery of life on Mars may have been fossilized. About 16 million years ago, an immense asteroid crashed onto the surface with the power of more than 1 million hydrogen bombs. A huge chunk of the planet's crust, carrying the fossilized rock, was hurled into space. When humans were just beginning agriculture in the Stone Age, the rock impacted Earth. Buried in Antarctica for some 13,000 years, a fragment of it was finally discovered in 1984. The rock was confirmed to be of Martian origin and given to a team of scientists led by David McKay, a NASA geochemist. Benefited by new technology only in existence since the early 1990s, McKay's team began to observe unusual features within the rock.
I've spent many nights until midnight in the laboratory looking at this rock because I was just too excited to go home.
I can honestly say that evening I had difficulty sleeping because of the thoughts of what this could be.
The scientists came to the realization of what they were actually looking at.
Within this rock are pictures of strange structures, some of which we have interpreted as microfossil forms of Mars. On
August 7th, 1996, the startling discovery was made made official.
We're here today to open the door just a little bit, to provide exciting scientific findings, to tell a fascinating detective story, and to lay out compelling clues that lead us to the direction that we think life might have existed at some point on Mars.
News of the rock was getting around.
Well, we got a call from the Office of Science and Technology Policy at the White House and an invitation to come to the Vice President's meeting at the old Executive Office building just adjacent to the White House.
Vice President Al Gore summoned distinguished scientists, journalists, theologians, and a national security official for a meeting to consider the implications of the announcement.
I remember particularly when the Vice President asked me, what are the broadest implications of this finding if it is true? And at that point I told him that I thought Mars really has been a test case during the 20th century for the wider universe, that if there is life on Mars, or even if there's been life on Mars in the past, it tells us a lot about the rest of the universe.
This rock from Mars had become a cosmic celebrity, and for good reason.
If life evolved on two planets so close together, on the Earth and Mars, then surely wherever the environment is conducive, life will arise throughout the universe.
If the rock reveals there was past life on Mars, it means that wherever conditions supporting life exist, life is going to arise, anywhere in the cosmos. But are we somehow linked to life on Mars and the universe? The answer may rest with the cosmic rain of small comets that carry water and organic materials from other worlds. When these meteors rain down, they could very well be seeding a planet with the origins for life. A planet is seeded when a meteor enters its atmosphere and begins to burn up. The water it carries is heated, insulating the organic materials inside.
All that heat is dissipated in steam on the outside, slows down, eventually just releases the center of it into the atmosphere. And those materials will just move with the winds up there and eventually come down into our oceans.
If cosmic rain is truly responsible for the origin of life on Earth and other planets, then we can look out at the stars today and no longer feel isolated, but strongly related, not only to planets like Mars, but to other solar systems and other stars.
In fact, we must all think of ourselves as citizens of a galaxy.
If life can arise on Earth through cosmic rain, then what about life on Mars?
It was contended for years, Mars is bone dry, and therefore there can be no life there. It's not true. There is liquid water in the upper few millimeters of the Martian surface. This was proven by Viking, and it was proven again by Pathfinder.
As long as there's liquid water on Mars, and as long as there are energy sources, then life will seek out those ecological niches and continue, even though the top surface of the planet may be hostile. Our team believes that yes, the evidence is there in favor of early life on Mars. And so that when we go there, it's my prediction that we will find current life.
It's an irresistible case that Mars today is a living world, but life doesn't stop here. Life on Mars tells us that we are living among countless intelligent worlds in the vast universe.
In fact, the age of the universe being far greater than the age of the Earth, that tells us most of these planets are inhabited by beings billions of years beyond us. So the life on them, if it has appeared, if it exists, is billions of years beyond us in the evolution of its intelligence. And if you ask what a billion years means in evolution, I must tell you that a billion years ago, the highest form of life on the Earth was a worm. So we are the worms of the universe. We are in relation to the worms in the garden as the really mature folk out there are in relation to us.